Well, perhaps it's the hardening pitches and the faster tracks, but some very big scorelines are on the URC this weekend. Josh Wycherley makes his first start of the season in that Munster front row as the men of Gwent visit Thomond Park. His older brother Fineen in the second row. It's only the second time the two Bantry boys have started together. Jack Crowley takes over the outside half duties today from Ben Healy. No change in midfield, and Shane Daly comes in for Calvin Nash in the back three. Simon Zebo scored his fourth Munster hat-trick against the Scots when Edinburgh were here a couple of weeks ago. 7-7 for the all-time leading try scorer. Four changes from the side, beaten by Ulster in atrocious conditions in Newport last time out for Dean Ryan's side. Only one switch in the forward pack. Aaron Wainwright, who didn't feature for Wales against England at Twickenham, comes into the back row in place of Dan Baker. It's Williams and Davies at 9 and 10. Jack Dixon back from injury in midfield, and somewhat surprisingly no Jonah Holmes for the Dragons today. Will Talbot Davis starts instead on the wing. Well, you may recall the Dragons beat Connacht by 35 points to 22 down in Galway back in round 3 in early October, and so impressive that day were Dean Ryan's side that you wondered, would the perennial Welsh strugglers kick on and enjoy an encouraging season? Well, in reality, the Dragons haven't won a single game since then. 9 matches, 8 defeats and 1 draw. And so they find themselves in all too familiar territory, really, languishing towards the foot of the URC table with only Zebra to look down on. And the mammoth task of a first Thomond Park win since 2004, not helped, of course, by the absence of most of their Welsh contingent, notably Taine Basham and Ross Moriarty. Here come the home team. A lot of talk, of course, this week about Munster's preparations for the upcoming trip to South Africa, particularly, of course, given just how badly things turned out the last time in late November. But Graham Rowntree says all the focus, until later tonight at least, is firmly on the Dragons. Munster bolstered by the likes of Gavin Coombs and Craig Casey back in the side. It is a strong Munster side.
Are proud to support the Irish Red Cross crisis appeal for Ukraine. To support the efforts of the Red Cross humanitarian response in Ukraine and surrounding areas, please visit www.redcross.ie to make a donation.
There you see a really good initiative backed by not just the URC but also Premiership Rugby in England, the Irish Cross and the British Red Cross launching that emergency humanitarian response to the events in Ukraine and surrounding areas. All the details you will need if you wish to make a donation on redcross.ie. Sam Grove White is in charge this afternoon. Colin Stanley is our television match official. And
which way are you going?
Seldom see conditions such as this, but it is early spring. Conditions are near perfect. There's a little bit of a blustery breeze swirling around Thomond Park, which Jack Crowley and Munster are going to be kicking into in the opening half here. But otherwise, as I said, the underfoot conditions perfect, and maybe that's had an effect on the scorelines this weekend. Some amazing scorelines. A deluge of tries right around the weekend, and let's hope it continues this afternoon.
No.
Rodri Williams in alongside Sam Davis in the half-backs for the visitors from Newport this evening, as Mike Healy gets his hands on it for Munster up to the 10-metre line. Crowley. Munster go through the hands to Farrell, putting some width on it early into the hands of Klutze. Early touch for Simon Zebo, who didn't have a huge amount of ball, oddly enough, against Edinburgh a couple of weeks ago, but still managed to walk off with a hat-trick of tries. Took his opportunities really, really well.
Tackle!
Hold there, Chrissy.
Slower ball this time for Casey.
I'll watch it.
Crowley pops one back inside, where it's picked up by Dan Goggin, maintaining that midfield partnership with Chris Farrell this afternoon. A little bit loose out the back now, and the Dragons trying to make pay here, but Munster have their hands on it. Casey now zips one out. Klutze and Zebo this way, and it's Clute's kick ahead, and he asks Zebo to go off and chase, and across comes in the nick of time Jordan Williams just to shovel it out of play, but a good early salvo from Munster. Barry Murphy alongside me this afternoon.
Conor, yeah, wonderful start there from Munster, great intent. I think Munster can expect Dragons to kick a lot of ball today. As we saw there, Rodri Williams going straight to the air. Mike Haley has been commanding the air so well for Munster this year, but you can see the Munster making use of Craig Casey's pass. He's got a huge pass.
Please, Jack.
Crowley taking a good distance off that pass, and Munster going out the back early doors.
Stay back.
And set piece now looking good also.
Safely into the hands of Jack O'Donoghue, who is 154th appearance for Munster. David Barron controlling things in there is Casey. Got the last 20 minutes off the bench against Italy. Into midfield they go to a sizable weapon that is Chris Farrell, but Munster guilty of holding on there. Farrell a little bit isolated, and Dragons very quickly into position over the ball.
I'm not sure if there was a bit of confusion there as to where that ball was going, because there was no there to resource the ruck once Chris Farrell carried into pretty heavy traffic. I think Dragons are pretty good in the turnover stats this year, so Munster have to be wary of that.
Ollie Griffiths with the white scrum cap over the ball, as he so often is. He's been almost ever present for the Dragons this season in the URC. There he is, the open side. Times it very well indeed. Just the one wheels cap for Ollie Griffith back in 2017. Good contest from Munster in the air on that occasion as they dink one through, and an opportunity here now if it sits up as it will for Jack Dixon. Good to see him back in action for the Dragons. 3 months or thereabouts out with a dislocated elbow, but looking to get his team on the front foot here, and that's a really decent nudge through right over in that far corner into the sunshine.
Great option from Sam Davies there. Little dink over the top. Munster competing very hard at the line-up, but leaving plenty of space in behind. And then, as we said, they will kick a lot of ball. He's got a very educated left foot, and he found a great touch in the left corner.
In the 5.
Well, that was right at the top of Jack O'Donoghue's reach from Dermot Barron, but Munster secure good ball, and can they exit now? Deep inside their own 22. Crowley, has he found his touch over on that far side? He has indeed. That's good clearance.
Yeah, it really is a beautiful day for rugby here, Conor.
Munster.
Not a cloud in the sky. As you can see, the sun is shining. It's a bit colder now as the sun has dropped behind the west stand, but still a beautiful day for throwing the ball around.
Can't have it every way. We'll take the blue skies, and not even a threat of rain.
Dragons, yes, please.
See it. Of course, Munster set for sunnier climes again in the next couple of weeks when we head down to play the Bulls and the Lions down in South Africa. That's Shane Daly back in the side in place of Calvin Nash this afternoon. Munster take it on with Finan Wycherley.
Use it.
Casey, huge height on that. He's judged that very nicely indeed. Good solid take. Rio Dar, Will Talbot Davies and Jordan Williams in the Dragons back three this afternoon. The other Williams, Rodri Williams. And that's been
I've got your mark, Andrew.
a little bit overcooked that time.
Thanks, pal.
From Jordan Williams, the former Scarlets and Bath man.
Good work.
Yeah, they'll be happy enough with how they've opened here, Dragons. They'll want to take any
Gaps have been good, same standard.
Any that sting out of the Munster's attack.
The mark.
And they won't play any rugby in their own half, as you can see. Any chance they get to kick the ball, they'll take it. And Munster here will try and get an early score. I know that will be the plan here, to kind of put the Dragons under pressure early.
Jordan Williams, who kicked that ball out on the full, also back in the side for the first time since picking up a nasty injury against Glasgow in December. So forgiveness from the likes of Dixon and Jordan Williams for a little bit of ring rustiness in the opening exchanges here. Crowley now spins one out to that far side as Munster come looking on the attack again. Big hit coming in this time from Anura Lowen on Mike Haley.
That's legal.
Showing up early
There's a
defensively
knock-on
here, and the
first.
ball's going
Scrum.
forward. So the first scrum of the afternoon, 6 minutes or thereabouts into the game.
Yeah, big
Just watch the
shot on
timing in
Mike
the air,
Haley
it's
on the
getting
right
tight
hand side
on that
there.
contest.
We said
Thank
he's
you.
playing good rugby here.
Yeah, just
all,
make
all
sure there's
year.
no more than that. Thank
Fan
you.
favourite in Thomond Park. Very solid at the back.
For me, it was the Munster player that was
Playing a
blocking.
lot of rugby, which was great. He's getting really comfortable in that back three position.
That's
And
why I didn't
as
penalise.
we know, Simon Zebo scored a
If it's
hat-trick
clear,
here a few
we'll get
weeks
it.
ago. And
Right, scrum,
Shane Daly,
Dragons.
who hasn't
As
much
we
of
said, the balance
a
between
record
bind and set.
on the scoring front, but a very promising player, and they seem to be getting really good cohesion between the three of them. So hopefully, as we said, we get a lot of ball back there and we can see them running.
Yeah, that was the talk, exactly how Simon Zebo's prodigal
Fine.
son-like return to Thomond Park would affect the dynamic in that back three. But you look back at Mike Haley's stats as I was this weekend, that debut season that he had, when he made his debut against the Cheetahs here, he had 26 starts and no reps off the bench that campaign, which is phenomenal stuff coming into a team like this. Now Dragons have it again. Rodri Williams has to go foraging for it. Gets it out as far as Harrison Ketty, the Dragons captain. 90th appearance for the region this evening, and up it goes from Williams again. Very, very tight to the line on that side. Was that in touch?
Ball is still live,
Mike Haley
fellas.
was absolutely certain, so too the referee's assistant.
No, we have 2 and 2.
I think it landed directly on the line.
Put it on the lines. Line, please.
Munster supporters wanted a few extra metres. I think they're right. Yeah, he was a good bit inside the Dragons' half of the field.
As he said from the start, there is a little bit of a swirling wind, so I think scrum halves have to be a bit wary when they're putting up those box kicks, that it will move a little bit in the air. A good platform here for Munster to attack from.
Step back
As
9.
you said, that is the default setting for this Dragons team, and in particular Sam Davis. He kicks the ball in play more than any other fly half in the competition. Dragons player on the wrong side is going to be pinged here by Sam Grove
You
White.
must get out there quicker. One Dragon's not rolling.
Yeah, they've gotten away with that a couple of times already, I think. The referee just a little bit sick of it. We'd all love to see a quick, fast game here. And interesting to see how Craig Casey comes back from the Irish camp. You know, that's the directive up on Irish camp at Gibson Park, is quick ball, quick rucks, and I think Craig will be looking to come back and put that kind of stamp on this Munster team.
Thank you.
It's a great kick from Jack Crowley. After the
Yeah, that's
offence
yours.
by Greg Bateman. No Brock Harris, of course. We're seeing him talking out these days in Stormers colours, as we did down in Galway last week. 7 years at Rodney Parade in Newport, Brock Harris, but Greg Bateman on that loose head side. Now, great opportunity for Jeremy Barron here. And once again, they go to the captain, Jack O'Donoghue.
Backwards.
Initial shunt backwards is good from the Dragons collective, but can they maintain their shape and discipline? Klein in there right alongside Jeremy Barron. They've made good yardage here, Munster.
Use it! Now use it, you've stopped.
Maul has been a very effective weapon this season. Casey, oh, he has a little dart and a snipe and a dive for the line. Craig Casey gets the first try of the afternoon, and he loved every single second of that. Options to his left-hand side, but it was all his own work in the end, and Casey gets his 8th try for Munster.
Yeah, wonderful awareness from Craig Casey to see the blindside option there. Simon Zebo obviously a huge threat there, making a few moves out wide, and Jack Crowley came sweeping around. The Dragons obviously made a big effort at that first shunt in the line-out defensive wall. Did actually really well to push Munster back 3 yards. Probably did commit too many players to it. And a great little snipe from Craig Casey, who just ducked inside Sam Davies, showed great upper body strength, and a fine belt of the ball into the air afterwards to show how much that meant to him.
It was a 3-on-2 initially, and then Sam Davies was aware of the danger and the fact that the Dragons were short numbers, and he came across but a little bit too late. Good fend though from Craig Casey. That's a lovely strike from Jack Crowley. Makes it look very, very easy. Well, that's a good settler. Great try from Casey and the extras from Crowley.
Which way? Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, Munster will be very happy with that. It's a great start, getting 7 points on the board. As you said, they're using where they're strong. They're going for the maul.
Hasn't always been the case this season for Munster. You look through the stats and they score the lion's share of their tries in both the first and the second half in the second quarters. It has been a little bit of an Achilles heel for them this season, starting a little bit slowly. Not the case here, though.
It seems to be the way the trend of the game is going at the moment. You see the way France and Ireland are going. They're starting minute 1, just like as if it was the last minute of a game. They're putting everything into it. And watching the Six Nations over the last few weeks, you would be hoping that would transfer into the club games as well. And I think Munster had a good start against Edinburgh here last 2 weeks ago. So it's good to see they're continuing on that form.
Dragons, as we said, well, it's been a difficult stretch for them. Played so well in that game done in Galway against Connacht to get a rare win on Irish soil, and you thought they might kick on from that, but they've had their troubles both in the URC and in European competition. Picked off by Casey. He looked to bring Farrell in. It was just a fraction behind him. And it's gone forward off the 15 times capped Ireland second centre.
That's another one straight from the Steve Larkin playbook. You can tell he's got a lot of intricate plays from lineouts and scrums.
Really nice first scrum.
Sometimes you feel Munster maybe force those things a little bit too much, where they could.
Same again on the
got
scrums.
a big centre in Chris Farrell who could just punch a hole up in the middle of that Dragons defence. But
I'll get a set out
at the same time, when they work, they work very well.
So I'll go right, yeah.
Heavily utilised this season, 9th start of the season for Chris Farrell.
Crouch! Bind!
They do have a lot of options. Rory Scannell, by the way, is on the bench wearing 23 this evening. 6-2 split for the Dragons. Conversely, the ball at the feet of Aaron Wainwright started the match against Ireland and was involved in the second Welsh game in the Six Nations, but didn't make the matchday squad for the game at Twickenham last week. Good to see Josh Navidi back in action in Belfast against Ulster last night for Cardiff as well. Wales do have a huge amount of back row options. No Ross Moriarty or indeed Tane Basham this evening. Now then, on the retreat is Crowley. Outside of the boot and finds a good touch almost up to the 10-metre line over on that far side. Only his 4th start. You kind of forget, it seems almost that he and Ben Healy came through at the same time, but still very much growing into being comfortable starting matches like this.
Yeah, to be fair to Johan van Graan, he's stuck with his guns and how he mixes up his team selections. It's difficult to get so many players game time, but he seems to be doing it quite well with the two of them who are playing well anytime they get the opportunity.
It was a good take from Wainwright, and then they funneled it on to Ollie Griffiths, and then I think it was Harrison Keddy. So the back row all combining there, and things were looking encouraging for the Dragons there until they in the shape of Rio Dara ran into Chris Farrell. Davis now, is there space over on that far side? It was that forward to Ollie Griffiths. We were pretty much in line with it, looked okay, and on they go. Munster always favourites to counter up there, but illegally so.
10. You're fine, but 10's never got back on.
John Ryan was happy with his part in that. The referee not happy with that of Jack Crowley, though. So great field position here from this penalty.
Thank you. Yeah, focus your street.
Yeah, Crowley just judged not to go back properly through the gate.
Yeah, that's good.
We're talking inches, but
it's ambitious to the tail, and they look to find Joe McSimney, and they do. And Owen Owen takes it up now, centre of the pitch, and with the advantage, great opportunity this for Dragons to head back after that Craig Casey try into the hands of Ollie Griffith. Opportunity here for Williams to use his kicking skills all the time with
Tackle
the
not
advantage
rolling.
which he was aware of.
Mark here. Yeah. Tackle not rolling, must get out there. I'll watch.
It's Crowley again. 2 in quick succession.
Fowler must get out of the way, the 9.
Yeah, that all came
Shot
from a
called.
loose kick from Munster. And Conor, as you mentioned at the top of the game,
Right.
where
Listen.
I think Dragons had the best performance of the year was against Connacht
You're
up
not
on the
harsh, mate.
sports ground earlier in the year.
Yeah.
A lot of their
Where's he
their scores that day came from loose kicks.
I know, you probably tried just a bit too late. If you went straight away, it'd be
kicking
fine.
to down the middle of the
I'll watch.
field. And Jordan Williams, he was back today after a long stint out. He cleaned up that day, scored a great try himself and a creative one. So Munster to be a bit wary of kicking loosely to him, and he's got a great break, he's got great feet, but he also has a good kicking game as well, as he saw put Munster back 3 under pressure at every opportunity.
Simple task for a man of the talents of Sam Davies to split the uprights. He's up around 87% from the kicking tee in the URC this season. There's that big hit going in from Chris Farrell on Rio Dyer. 2 wingers with plenty of sevens pedigree and electric pace, which will be a threat. And there's a Mac Hansen effort from Chris Farrell. Not quite as dramatic. Casey now. Dermot Barrett puts his shoulder to the wheel. Taken on here by Gavin Coombs. Casey, quicker ball now. Crowley. Into midfield they go to Dan Goggin. Casey once more now. Haley straight into
Taken back.
the hands of Sam
Stay in
Davies.
front.
Touch not an option. It was passed back into the 22. Sits up nicely for Daly.
Come back.
Hoists it skyward, dropping on the 10-metre line. Good challenge, good contest for the ball, and ultimately won by Klute. Now Casey, who's looked really lively, very sharp, keen to make a big impression. He's already done that. Wycherley into contact. Josh Wycherley, older brother Fineen, starting behind him in the second row. Albeit on the tight head side, so scrummaging down behind the vastly experienced
Tackle out.
John Ryan this evening. Ball a little bit slow coming back to Casey, and Crowley now didn't have a huge amount of options. Improvises to Farrell, who shows really good footwork. Doesn't die with the ball, keeps it alive, gets it away to Coombs now again. Casey. Crowley very tight in there, isn't it? Wayne White was very much alive to where that was going. Read it well.
Yeah, showed his experience there, Wainwright. Saw that coming, the inside pass is good option from Jack Crowley. Munster going through the phases, not making great yards, but I think what they probably need to do is start getting the big ball carriers, and Gavin Coombs and Jack O'Donoghue are very abrasive and can make yards. I think they're the kind of guys they need to get on the ball.
Dragons, really good scrums on your ball. Same for them, please.
Great take by the big Fermanagh man.
Crouch.
Aaron Wainwright,
Bye.
ever present through the autumn series for Wales, started all the big games against New Zealand, South Africa and Australia. 38
Same
caps for
scrum.
his country at this stage.
There's 2 messages here. 2 messages. I don't want to see you boys pulling back. I don't want to see your weight go forward. Come here, lads. Yeah, that's the messages. That's
Chris
why there's 2
Coleman over there on
messages.
the tight head side for the Dragons is a massive unit, tipping the scales at around about 130 kilograms
Nothing back.
against
Let's go.
the 22-year-old from Bantry, Josh Wycherley.
Let's go, good set. Big team set. Come on, let's go. Let's get out of here. Let's go. Let's go. Second.
Only a year between them in age. Coleman played for the Welsh under-20s in 2018, and the following year Josh Wycherley was a Grand Slam winner with the Irish under-20s in 2019.
Advantage.
The front rows are down. The referees
What's your call,
going in a
Andrew?
penalty advantage here. Casey,
got mine,
little
it's like
shimmy,
Watson
swivel of the hips, gets it away to Crowley, moves it on to Zebo. Quick service again from Casey. It's been a real feature of the opening quarter of the match.
Both Dragons props collapsing under pressure. Both props.
Doesn't like the picture he's getting from the Dragons front row.
Yeah, they'll be very happy with that. It's a young Munster front row there. John Ryan bringing up the average age a little bit, but it's an area that you know, there's plenty of opportunities there for young guys coming up. And we've seen plenty of Josh Wycherley over the years. He's had a few injuries this season that have kind of stunted his opportunities, but we saw him in Claremont a couple of seasons and what he can do. He's small in stature, but he's a very hard guy to move.
Right, come on, Munster.
Field, great energy. No opportunity here for Munster.
Superb, wasn't he, in that game against Claremont? Signed a new 2-year contract last summer. Prime position here for Jeremy Barron. Is it Klein at the front this time? Good take by the second row. South African-born Irish cap Farrell again. Does some of the heavy lifting. Klein will be the likely target here, and he is. And they're driving towards that line, and they're getting closer all the while. Casey now 2 meters shy. Ball's taken a long time to come back. Maybe a Dragon's hand, that perhaps of Ollie Griffith in there slowing it down. Penalty advantage again. Will Munster choose to put some width on it? They put Chris Farrell on it, who's a very good option, and now if they can get quick balls, surely they'll manufacture something here. They go for the line again, and it's Casey on the double. What a start to this game Craig Casey is having. He is electrifying, and he's doing a lot of the heavy lifting all on his own. Second try in the space of 22 minutes here.
But he puts himself.
He really is, Conor. He's obviously got something to prove. I think he'll take a lot of confidence from getting selected on the bench for Ireland last weekend against Italy, and even the few minutes he got playing inside Jonathan Sexton. I think he spoke during the week about how much that meant to him. You could see there's a real spring in his step. That's a great little dart. He's so small, so low to the ground, but he's got great feet. He's very powerful.
That's really good for you, Andrew. Good timing.
He's got an eye for the line, and that's a great 2 scores for him inside 25 minutes.
Really good finish, and it just shows his confidence, because with a lot of heavy artillery camped outside and looking to get responsibility in their hands on there, if you don't score from that kind of range, you might hear about it.
Exactly.
Gavin Coombs in particular, John Klein there as well.
Not short of options. Casey's grandmother lives a stone's throw away from the stadium here, so he's well used to this neck of the woods anyway.
He knows every inch of the Thomond Park turf as well, as demonstrated there, and he didn't have to go far, but it's a really encouraging start for the scrum half. Crowley now, and Munster beginning to warm to the task, you feel, and there's a little bit of a missed tackle. Lois Farrell away, and Healy, look at the options here, left and right. Inside is O'Donoghue. He doesn't have Zebo's speed, but he doesn't need it, because he has the drive and the desire and the appetite to get there. And Munster cut the Dragons open from way inside their own 22. Talking all day about the deluge of tries in the URC, and we've already had 3 for the home side inside the opening 25 minutes. Brilliant stuff.
Well, Conor, I think you remember a few weeks ago when Mike Haley made a similar break against Edinburgh, and he had Jack O'Donoghue on his inside and he had Simon Zebo on his outside, and he chose Simon Zebo that time, and he may have gotten a bit of stick from his captain, so this time there was no doubt in his mind. Great pass, and he'd full faith in his number 6 to have the pace to get under the post. But that's a great score from Munster. Great intent, those short, sharp little loop passes inside their own 22. Great hands from Jack Crowley. Chris Farrell taken down, but he wasn't held, so he rolled on. And just the support lines are the important part of that try. You can see there was 3 or 4 players there that could have scored that in the end. Great finish from Jack O'Donoghue, who's really been unbelievable form for Munster the last few months.
He really has. Yeah, thanks very much, Paul. I enjoyed that. Didn't even look to see if Zebo was there. He knew he was, of course. He could probably hear him. 21st try, by the way, in Munster colours for the prolific Jack O'Donoghue. His 6th of the season, 4 of them in the URC.
Thank you. Yes, good.
21 points to 3, 26 minutes in. As we said, they've not always been the quickest out of the blocks this season, so a very encouraging start here for Munster, and Dragons have got to find a response and a way back into the game, whether it's through their kicking game or really matching up in those first up tackles. They've fallen off 1 or 2 now to quite a cost.
Scrum option.
Just on Jack O'Donoghue there again, he's really been incredible for Munster. I think in the last 3 months in particular, he's such a leader in that side.
Thank you.
I know that the back row of the Irish team is very competitive at the moment. Very difficult for him to get in, but you imagine that if he keeps playing the way he is, with the New Zealand tour coming this summer and there's an extra few games being added, there's 5 games there with midweek matches, you'd hope that Jack O'Donoghue would put his hand up for that at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. 9 missed tackles, by the way, as you probably saw on that graphic. From 50 for the Dragons is not great. Not here, not anywhere.
Yeah, use that.
28 now, Jack O'Donoghue, by the way, and just those couple of Ireland caps. We loathe to call him one of those players that is underrated, because he's absolutely not. That's beautiful from Zebo and Haley, and Munster's back 3 looks really sharp. Flamboyant stuff, offloading rugby. And a little nudge on Sam Davies from Zebo puts him into touch.
Yeah, good. That was a cabbage patch. That's fine.
But they have come to play, and they have come to entertain Munster. That's lovely, isn't it?
Lovely little no-look pass from Simon Zebo, and great energy again from Mike Haley. The second no-look pass just didn't quite work out for Simon Zebo. Sam Davies really just couldn't keep his feet out of touch, but yeah, great intent, great skill level as well. You know, Jack Crowley showing his ability there with his right to left pass. He can really zip them, and Chris Farrell, as we know, for such a big man, but he's such delicate hands.
Jack, all good? You boys all good, yeah?
It's not an easy skill, I know, no matter how dry it is, to taking a pass at that width and throw another one equally as good.
4 off. I'll put time on once we're in, though.
6?
Yeah, time's still off till we're ready. Time is now on.
So Barrett
goes
to O'Donoghue and finds his target.
Once! Wait,
operating pretty well, as it nearly always does. It's been very good this season for Munster.
Use it now.
Score a lot of their tries off lineouts. Crowley now. Jordan Williams on the retreat and on the chase over on that far side, and not a million miles away was Shane Daly.
He did the hard part, taking the...
Sorry, I didn't mean to. Wait till both hands
ball,
go down.
but just
The 2 is new for me, so...
Very little pitch to work with, but they're mixing it up, showing good variety. Taylor Davies on loan from the Scarlets, where he's a lot of heavy traffic ahead of him, but he's enjoying good game time at the Dragons. He's got Ken Owens and Ryan Elias ahead of him at Parky Scarlets, but he'll head back there at the end of the season. Bradley Roberts, of course, is incoming to Newport, to the Dragons at the end of the season from Ulster. So too JJ Hanrahan, of course.
All legal.
Getting their business done early. Daly puts the brakes on and just pops it away to Haley. Crowley. Zebo now has come in off his wing and left the space out here for Farrell. It just drifted a little bit, and it's quite a distance down from 6'3", 6'4" for Chris Farrell.
Did everything right there, Simon, with straightening up and keeping the Dragons' defence honest, but just the pass tipping at the end.
Lads,
Dragons will be happy with the return from that. As I said, they're kicking a lot.
Scrum option taken.
I think when you're doing that, your kicking has to be very accurate, and you have to be putting teams under pressure. And too often in this first half, they've been kicking loosely and giving Munster easy possession.
We'll go this way. One of you aren't going to be happy.
With the wind as well.
Same as the last defensive scrums, please.
It could be difficult in the second half.
Do you want to come further this way?
Dragons 2, South Africa bound after this away to the Bulls and the Sharks before they play Gloucester in Europe. It's going to be really interesting when you look at the table, and so few teams have played the same amount of games. So you're looking at Cardiff last night going to Ulster and heavily beaten, but they'd only played 7 games previously and looked like a team that just didn't have enough rubber on the road and no real continuity. South African sides, by contrast, who are getting better and better, and now they play maybe 4 or 5 home games in a row, all of them.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a very interesting the way the season has fallen this year, and it's been heavily weighted in the latter part of the season. And I think Munster have 8 games in a row now, from here to the start of April, or to the end of April, sorry. So look, you'd like to think that the momentum they've been building over the last few weeks will kick on, and teams like Dragons are just going to have to try and, as difficult it is, get some wins down in South Africa.
Wainwright picks from the base and fields Rodri Williams, and there's a lot of traffic in midfield. That's gone forward off a Dragon hand, and Casey now just drops one onto his bootlaces on his left leg into the 22. Good chase, good pace though from Wainwright. And you talk about pace, and few on the pitch have more of it than Rio Dyer there, but he needed all of his elusive footwork to get away from Simon Zebo. It's been a good game. 32 minutes, 3 tries, 21 points to 3. Barely a let up in the action, and good ball in play time. And Munster want to continue that and go quickly from touch to Farrell. You don't want him to get up too much of a head of steam. Good tackle from Chris Coleman. Casey. Klein pops one at the back to Crowley now. Was there space to try and go in between players there? And that's that roll on the floor that we're seeing so much of now. Referees very hot on it. You cannot do that.
Not you.
Yeah, lucky for Jack Crowley. He just probably felt he wasn't held, so maybe he had the right to roll a little bit, but referees have been pretty consistent in calling that. You just see.
I thought someone was coming.
Yeah, Mark's here.
Yeah, just even that little 360 on the floor, you won't get away with that these days.
I mean, if he'd have stayed where he was, Dixon, I think, would have got the turnover, and that's how you have to referee that. So it's a good decision. Again, Craig Casey showing some great ability down the right-hand side there. His footwork, his option taking, really got a spring in his step.
All the way over the top, this time from Taylor Davies.
Off feet, leave it.
Referee's in there. It's coming back on the Dragon side, albeit slowly. Greg Bateman. Joe McSimney leaves it and taken on by Griffiths. Klute is in there. He had 3 or 4 really good jackal turnovers a couple of weeks ago here against Edinburgh. He was a constant threat and menace around the breakdown.
Oh no.
Jordan Williams. Oh, he slings one raking pass all the way out to Dyer there. Ball was in the air a long time, and it gave the likes of Chris Farrell plenty of time to get across and set up the big tackle on the diminutive winger.
20 here. Use it.
Comfortable take from Daly. Such a tidy player, very happy under the high ball, having played a huge amount of his rugby at full-back, of course. Klute. Oh, Haley now just managed to hold on to that somehow, and then he pops it off the floor to Casey. Ball still alive here for Munster. Playing some real heads-up stuff.
Hands off! Second goal, hands off. He cleared you.
Owen. He did heed the referee, but in not doing it immediately, he slowed it down. Big tackle from Bateman there. This time Munster do get the penalty, and Casey, he's all action. Now he's going to be called back here.
Mark's here. I didn't see if he tapped it. I didn't see a clear
Bateman
tap.
just trying to do anything to slow them down there.
One clear release, please.
Forwards.
Sorry, I didn't see a clear tap. That's all.
Seagulls a little bit,
Your mark
but
was good.
as you said, great intent from Munster. Josh Wycherley has thrown a few of those out the back door passes. They've been really impressive. It's kind of been the order of the day when you look at the likes of Tyke Furlong.
Give me that and you're fine.
And Porter doing it for Ireland on a regular basis.
Tackle, but just give me that.
Definitely adding that skill set to his armour. And think he'll have a lot of experience playing with someone like Jack Crowley as well.
Dragons
So
to step in the back,
seem to be
lads.
seeing off the same hymn sheet. And again, Craig Casey, quick to move the ball all the time.
In we get, please.
Klein it is at the front, doesn't quite get back to terra firma, but Munster get the ball away and flat to the line, inviting that big bludgeoning run of Chris Farrell on. Great delivery from Casey, who's been all over the place. He's done absolutely everything this half, on top of his 2 tries. Crowley, oh that's good, look at the space now for John Ryan, and he's got a bit of footwork as well. Munster have been really good in this opening 36 minutes. Oh, Cloutey for the bonus point try. Munster have brought their all-court game to Thomond Park tonight. All guns blazing.
I don't think it's forward.
Coast to coast, and finished off by the open side flanker. What about the cameo from John Ryan in the middle as well? Brilliant stuff.
What a line from John Ryan. My God. Brilliant play from Munster. Jack Crowley picking out passes, and just the timing of everything seems to be really clicking for them. Craig Casey again just moving it so quickly. That's a great line from John Ryan. And his ball placement allows Craig Casey to move it really quickly. Beautiful hands to Chris Farrell. And Chris Cloutey then hugging the touchline as he does so well. He's got a good knack to score tries, has Cloutey, and he won't get an easier one than that. Brilliant try from Munster.
He's kicking really nicely tonight. Is Jack Crowley off that tee? That's a very similar kick. He's had about 3 of those now, almost from the identical spot, but he's striking the ball with real conviction, and Munster playing with a lot of confidence and a lot of width and variety.
And it's coming from those halfbacks as well. You know, the Jack Crowley, a lot of what you hear about him from the grapevine, he's a very confident player. He's doesn't put himself under too much pressure. He's got a left and a right foot. He's a good passer of the ball. And you know, himself and Ben Healy are really having to fight for this. You know, it is a second spot, or a second out half position at the moment behind Joey Carberry. But fair to Johan van Graan, he's given them both the opportunity as often as they can. And if you look at the English Premiership, it's interesting, and even the top 14 in France, the players play so much. Likes of Smith, he played 1,400 minutes this year, and the likes of Jack Crowley and Ben Healy will only play 400 at a time, and it's difficult for them to grow, but making a good job of it.
Yeah, that's all the talk about Marcus Smith. He's front and centre every game for Quins. Quick shot of Dean Ryan there. He must be puzzled as to how to try and stop the bleeding here. I think if they can just manage to weather the next couple of minutes as it is at 28 points to 3, the Dragons, and get into the sheds and seek some counsel, try and come up with a plan to turn things around here or get themselves into the game.
Which has affected the clear of 1. 5, you blocked the clear.
Pop this down into the corner, maybe get 5 or 7, and that would be certainly a big fill-up, even psychologically, just change the tone somewhat of the half-time team talk.
You've just affected his clear.
Trouble with that is, you know, the good Munster line-out defences. Such a good defensive record here in Thomond Park, and it's across the field. You know, it's set piece. It's in their own 22. They don't concede a lot of tries, so every side has to work really hard to break them down.
Yep, once again, meanest defence in the competition, as it has been for the last couple of seasons. There's that good awareness off the tail from Josh Wycherley, and a little pop pass back inside Crowley now, who's had an excellent half. Just needed a fraction more on that to give Jordan Williams a real problem in behind. Good chase from Goggin. Coleman now, Sam Davies did well to get it inside to Bateman. And here they come now, looking on this side with Talbot. Davies trying to use his pace in between players. No change out of Zebo or Jack O'Donoghue. Only go with Greg Bateman now. The Dragons up to the 10-metre line. The player receiving treatment in the backfield just on the edge of the 22 as play carries on. Two Munster players with their hands on it, and they're fighting over the turnover. Josh Wycherley and Gavin Coombs.
Incredible again from Josh Wycherley. He's really taken his opportunity here. As he said, soft hands in the top of the back of the turnover line out there, but great defensive effort there. Jack O'Donoghue out here in the 5-metre line, shouting at Simon Zebo to stay out, and he hauled down the second last defender.
No, he's gone corner.
Massive hit from John Klein in the middle of the field.
Yeah,
he just loves that. He loves lining players up and putting shots in, and as you said, Gavin Coombs and Wycherley fighting over who got that turnover.
Yeah, we will not stop.
Opportunity for Munster here as he approach half time.
Time is off. Time's off. Jack, time is off.
Medic's just obscuring our view as to which of the Dragons players it is that's receiving attention down on that far side. I think it's a Nura Nohan, yeah it is, just as he gets back to his feet.
Then we've got a sub here for Dragons, 12 off.
And it's not something you want to see. Oh yeah. It's that right ankle has just collapsed in underneath him, under the weight of the tackle. And Stephen Barron come in.
Once he's on.
And he knows straight away. It's a nasty
Is someone
one.
speaking to me? Someone open the desk, close now. Right, Munster in form, and we'll put time on. Yeah. Water off, please. We'll deal with that first, then we'll get the numbers.
It's disappointing for the Dragons, so they're forced into a switch right at the end of the half, and they're also going to be forced to defend their try line again. Already shipped 4 tries. It's Josh Lewis who's come in.
Back.
Number 23, Casey, good hands. Crowley, a little pop pass back inside. Zebo, important strike tackle, but Munster looking very lively again. Klein this time just testing those pillar defenders from the Dragons. 43 minutes on the watch here as their 5th try in the half for Munster. Back inside, O'Donoghue takes the pass from Wycherley this time. Casey wants it quicker. Crowley has orchestrated things beautifully. Haley has been ever present as well. Just tried to get one away to Farrell. It just didn't quite go to hand. Looks as though the Dragons will survive. Through goes Casey on the counter.
No advantage.
We were playing with the advantage, and to the thankful ears of the Dragons players, the referee Sam Grove White blows the half-time whistle. It's been hugely entertaining, enthralling at times from Munster. And they've helped themselves to 4 tries. Craig Casey's fingerprints all over the half-time score in Limerick, which is Munster 28, the Dragons 3.
One more time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's hear it for Munster, led by Captain Jack O'Donoghue.
All set to go then for the second half here at Thomond Park. Sam Davies is ready. The referee not quite ready just yet. There he is, Sam Grove White. Just looking around at any changes. Alex Candellen has come in for Munster.
Yeah,
I think just double checking that. We'll confirm that very shortly. Referee is now ready to go.
Good, mate.
Dragon substitution number 8, Aaron Wainwright, replacement number 20, Ben Fry.
And Aaron Wainwright has come off for the Dragons. Ben Fry is into the visitors' back row for the second half, as Finan Wycherley takes the kickoff.
And tackle. Use.
Wycherley, big 40 minutes he had.
Use it.
Really good half. heavily involved. Ball into touch on this near side. Confirmation then of those switches. So Ben Fry in for Aaron Wainwright, as I said, on the Dragons side, who lost Arnur and Owen just before half-time. Josh Lewis was in for him, remember. Confirmation of that switch. Alex Candellen is in for Finian Wycherley, the player, to go off. So a little bit of a reshuffle in terms of that back five for Munster. Jack O'Donoghue, you would imagine, would go into the second row. Candellen into the back row. Here is Greg Bateman. And under real pressure, Rodri Williams. Gavin Coombs has got his hands on it. Munster turn it over. Casey, aware of the space in the backfield. Is that going to be a 50-22? Gets a little bit of the rub of the green that his players deserve.
Yeah.
Perfect points of the ball.
Yeah, I'll keep it.
That'll be a Munster throw.
Oh, brilliant use of that new rule from Craig Casey. Great vision to see that there was no one back in the Dragons' backfield. Great execution with a left end over end. Little chip kick and he got the roll. But brilliant defence from Jack Crowley here, chasing the loop from the 9 to 10, forcing the turnover along with Gavin Coombs. A really good start to the second half defensively for Munster.
Barron now, and they look to hit Alex Candellen with the throw from the line out, but he didn't quite get a good contest from the Dragons. Really good turnover.
No, 7.
Taken on by Joe Davies.
You went hands past them back.
Davies waits and finds his touch right on the 22.
If you get straight on ball, you get the reward, but if you hit ground, no.
It'd be good for someone like Alex Candellen to get a good run in this second half. Finian Wycherley has been pretty much ever present for this Munster side throughout the season, whether it's starting or on the bench. He gets through a serious amount of work. But,
this is inside.
Alex Candellen, you can play all across that back row. Very talented player and a good leader as well, so great opportunity for him.
Fellas, this is clearly inside Dragons. You need to give a gap.
Just turned 21
no, same
on
again, but Dragons, we need a gap.
I thought the line was
last Thursday.
No,
Alex
it's
Candellen,
inside.
like Jack Crowley, another
Red
player
on the line.
who showed so much talent coming through as an Irish under-20s player, captained the side, scored half a dozen tries in the 5-6 Nations games in Cardiff last summer. And here come Munster again in the shape of Jeremy Barron.
Once.
Casey waits, and now Crowley assesses the options, and so often the option has been Chris Farrell up the centre. O'Donoghue so often breaks the tackles and gets his hands free, and Munster come again now with Klein.
Four play the ball on the ground.
It's been played on the floor by Joe Davies, I think it is, and it's a penalty Munster.
Stay on the line.
What's the option here? They're going to the corner. A little bit too far out for the tap penalty, but line out functioning pretty well, albeit that last one really well turned over by Joe McSimney, the former Connacht player,
just
of course.
Off the line, please.
You can see the hand in the ruck there, just trying to reef it out of John Klein's hands when he's on the ground.
Again, it was Candellen was the target towards the tail of that line out. Ambitious from Barron now. Casey just pops one in behind, and
22.
by his standard, that's probably the first thing that's gone wrong tonight. Badly wrong. There was way too much on that, wasn't there?
Yeah, you can see Simon Zebo is very hungry to get his name in the score sheet. He must be thinking, what's going on? We're scoring tries for fun. How I haven't dotted down one yet. Gavin Coombs is the guy who we haven't seen a huge amount of today. I think the game is kind of just getting past him from the attacking front anyway. He's been ever present in defence and forcing turnovers, but hasn't gotten too much of his hands on the ball.
Daly collects. Coombs was an option inside. Daly takes the contact instead, and it's there for Casey, and now
Thanks, then you've got to wait them.
Farrell ready and waiting, and again he gets his feet moving quickly. Crowley again through the hands, this time to Dan Goggin. Flat to the line and bringing O'Donoghue on it. Good line again from the captain, just slightly back against the green, keeping the Dragons' defence on their toes all the while. Huge amount of carries from Farrell this time. Goggin just a little bit tight. Dragons had their numbers and their
Scrub.
front line defence up pretty tight then.
Nothing.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed with that, Dan Goggin. Good phase play. They're consistently breaking the first tackle there. Munster getting good shape off Crowley and off Casey. Too much traffic there, and Dan Goggin just took his eyes off it running into the tackle.
Is this a good to go?
Chris Farrell almost playing like more of a 12 today. You would kind of imagine him to be more of a 12, wouldn't you? Classically, physically, he's 6'4", 16, 17 stone.
Time off.
Classically, that's got number 12 written all over it, but he's stuck to his guns as a 13, and what's to do is they use him so well up the guts. And himself and Damien Deilande, if Munster can get Deilande back for the closing end of the URC competition and for the Champions Cup, I think they've got a serious partnership going there. And with Joey Carby coming back, and
no weight forward, thank you.
This Munster pack getting on top, it's they're going to get stronger and stronger.
It's going to be really interesting to see how they cope in the different conditions. The altitude down in South Africa, and then after that coming back to play Exeter. Really interesting battle. Aki Sueli in for Greg Bateman, as you saw in the front row for the Dragons. Williams into contact, and look at the tigerish approach from those Munster players.
Use it!
Josh Lewis calling across the support. Julia obliging is Sueli fresh in off that bench.
Use it!
Samoan prop sign from Glasgow, born in Christchurch, New Zealand. Now Haley underneath this. Out the back from Goggin as he was scragged in a tackle. A little bit of work for Coombs to do then on the floor to make sure that Munster can secure it, and it's there for Casey, which it is.
Use it!
Casey this time to Coombs, and otherwise quickly Ben Fry for the Dragons. Casey not hanging around, keen to keep the tempo up, even when he's box kicking from deep inside the 22 like he is there.
Yeah, a little bit scrappy there from Munster. Kind of switching off a little bit. Mike Haley taking a long kick, but then not making his decision quick enough really, and
is this an
Dan
injury?
Goggin threw a loose pass. Dragons putting them under plenty of pressure, but looks like Jack O'Donoghue is struggling with a shoulder. He took a bit of a hit, and he won't want to go off. We know how much of a fierce competitor he is.
Fellas, start second half, Edison. Keep working.
The brains trust, but of course, as we keep saying, who's going to be here this time next year and into next season?
Good work getting that ball out. If he slows it down,
it has gone quiet over the last few weeks as to who's going to take over. It was all anyone was talking about there for about 6 weeks when we heard the news initially down in South Africa that Johan van Graan would be moving on, and
they're on
before
it,
that
you
Stephen
the ball,
Larkham,
just keep playing like that.
And then JP Ferrer, and then we keep hearing players potentially moving to
Good
bat.
work on the roll and just keep them moving.
Clote was mentioned in the last few weeks. Damien Deilande has obviously been mentioned a lot. Jason Jenkins is now moving to Leinster, so it's a lot of going out, not a huge amount of coming in. It's great to see that we have Graham Roundtree will be staying in Munster next year. It's a very positive confirmation there, but it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Munster turning one over. There's the line out, and that's been ripped there by Ollie Griffiths, and it's forced a knock on from his opposite number, Chris Klutze.
Great rip from Griffiths there. He spotted that it was a loose one-handed carry.
Nice scrum, last one. Same again.
Dragons seem to to kind of slow down this Munster attack now, and they'll be happy enough with that. Team Ryan will be happy. He must have had a word with them just to kind of take that momentum out of their attack, slow them down, frustrate them, keep the ball for a while. I think that could be something that Dragons might benefit from.
Crouch! Bind!
Some pretty good stats from Chris Farrell 50 minutes into the game.
It's far side. Both teams straight down. We'll go scrum again.
Good hit, Boris.
It was on the far side. There was nothing clear.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head
Both
the last
teams to
time that
ground.
Munster managed to
Just work to
secure
stay
a bonus point in the opening
Work to
40
stay up.
minutes in the URC. I'm thinking immediately back to that brilliant game at Parky Scarlets. They definitely scored 4 tries in that half.
Let's go. Second.
So-called makeshift team, but it's
You're
talking about the likes of Jack Crowley and Ben Healy, who's exceptional that day. Liam Coombs played really well. Shane Daly.
Yeah, and it was one of the ones that they did start very well. As you said, has been something that's quite rare for them.
Dragons trying to find a way back into this dancing feet of Rodri Williams. Different approach from Harrison Keddy. Munster player over there, Gavin Coombs, as he got rights on the ball. Didn't quite have his hands on it. Aki Suali now instead for Dragons. That's loose in the contact. Options potentially here for Munster if they can square up. Dyer on defensive duty to try and shut down the space for Shane Daly. Back inside to John Ryan. Nice and flat again from Crowley. He's given his teammates lots of options and lots of ideas, and through the hands. Farrell and Goggin, who are switching roles in midfield intermittently this afternoon. Coombs now again once took it a little bit flat-footed from a standing start.
Use.
Casey always talking, always communicating, telling John Klein exactly what he wanted there. And the runner's off in chase of the high ball. Chase led by Zebo, back on the Munster side, didn't go forward. Farrell picks it up and retrieves. Options on that side are Coombs and Klutze, and he's so strong. It's Wycherley, I beg your pardon. What a game he's having. Oh, Zebo now, a little bit of a sleight of hand and a step, and Zebo makes 5 or 6 metres through the tackle. Kindellan very close. Munster come in search of a 5th try.
Advantage 5.
Casey, player on the wrong side. Casey's livid. He wanted quick ball. Crowley now. Goggin over the top. Certain try. And easy in the end for Haley, except it was forward. Back we go for the penalty.
I don't think Dan Goggin was expecting that pass from Jack Crowley, and he has great hands. Dan Goggin coached him underage with UL Bohemians, and he's a wonderful passer of the ball, but that one just drifting forward.
Well, they've gone here through Casey. There's no whistle from the referee. There was no movement from any of the Dragons players. They expected and anticipated that Casey would be called back from the penalty. He wasn't. And Simon Zebo, well,
No one told me time
he scored 68 tries. I wonder, has he ever scored an easier, more straightforward and simple try from that? Right,
he doesn't care how he gets them.
No.
And look, you know for a fact that Simon that's calling that. He just has an eye for it. He never switches off, and he deserved it. It was a great break for him initially, just from the edge of the 22 there, showing his quick feet, his quick thinking. He's got a strong handoff. That's a great team try from Munster. Really started down below in their own 22 with that turnover, and they've worked their way up the fields. You know, we criticised them in the past for box kicking a lot.
As was the
They
loose
haven't
head on
box
my
kicked
side,
much
mate.
today, but Craig Case put up a beautiful box kick and great
They worked hard to get the
competition
ball
from
out.
Simon Zebo, turned it into Chris Farrell's hands, and they went on from there.
Five tries for Munster, but that's the first miss of the kicking tee. 4 out of 5 for Jack Crowley.
33, Dragons 3.
I'm just looking down the body language of these Dragons players now as they just get themselves back up for the restart. Not great at all. 30-point margin. And the kick's not gone. 10, and it's picked up by Haley. Farrell on the inside. It's going to be 2 tries in the space of a little over a minute, and Farrell gets the try that his all-round play has deserved. Munster absolutely rampant now against the bedraggled Dragons in Limerick.
Mike Haley just showing how good he's been all season and backing it up. Brilliant decision to attack that kickoff. Manny Blair would have just left that drop and take the 5-metre scrum. He attacked it, sidestepped, accelerated. Great pass to Chris Farrell, who was rightly in support, and they definitely weren't going to stop him from there. That's brilliant from Haley.
Absolutely brilliant from Haley is right. And Farrell says thank you very much. He canters in at pace and uses all his power for his first try in 14 months.
I'd be curious to see the amount of assists that Mike Haley has. You just seem to always see him in that position, don't you? Throwing that last pass, making the little break. It's so impressive.
What Dragons numbers do you want?
That's much better. And normal service resumed from the kicking tee for Jack Crowley. And Munster hit 40 points 15 minutes into the second half. Half a dozen tries.
Do you need any Munster players, mate?
Not good enough from Sam Davies, really. A player of his calibre to, on a night like this, perfect conditions underfoot.
Number 2, Jerry Barron. Number 3, John Ryan. Number 13, Chris Farrell. Replaced by number 23.
Farrell has gone off. Rory Scannell has come in, and there's a brand new front row. I think it is entirely for Munster. Graham Rowntree saying all the focus on tonight's game against the Dragons. No one thinking about what's a really important trip down to South Africa, but it's job done
Dragons
here.
stop in front, and it's touched.
Some very big games in the offing against the Bulls and the
Dragons
Lions.
substitution, number 4, Joe Davis, replaced by number 19, Hugh Taylor.
Hugh Taylor is coming wearing 19.
Taylor Davies, replaced by number 16, Els Ship.
End of the line, please. End of the
And a
line.
change at hooker as well.
Yeah, lovely.
Now
There,
Ship
one.
is in.
You all right?
Great to see Niall Scannell back after a bit of time out as well from Munster. Going on the field with his brother Rory.
Time off. What's that? You'll be playing hooker next.
Yes, there he is. Well over 100 appearances as well. Great shift from that man in your picture. Chris Farrell capped off by that nice try. As I said, it's a while since he got his last one in Munster colours, 14 months. Put in beautifully by Mike Haley, and what a great shift again by Josh Wycherley. Much to ponder for Dean Ryan. Disappointing offering from his side so far. Long way back from here.
Apart from the injuries, all good? Yeah, good. We'll wait on him, don't worry. Anything else now?
It would be a nice trip for both sides now to go down to South Africa. Well, in this day and age in rugby, you don't get those opportunities really to go in, have a tour with your club side and spend some time. And obviously when Munster went down there before Christmas, it was a disaster for them. You'd imagine that won't happen this time, I hope, at least with the few months they have ahead. But nice time to regroup and
Dragons are fine.
see what lies ahead of them for the remainder of the season.
Scannell finding Kendella.
Yeah, we have 2 knock-ons, lads.
It's gone forward off the Munster hand off that pass from Casey, looking to bring Rory Scannell straight into it.
Shut up. Let's go.
Good work, just keep it down.
Changes, boys.
Sometimes the
Nice
dummies
knock
can
here,
even
now
fool
go
their
this way, okay?
own teammates.
Just give me some space.
I've been on the end of a few of them myself.
Jody, watch.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
So it goes from Lewis Jones, and the 2 front rows are standing up, and Kendellen endeavouring to make hay as he breaks away. Casey fires one out to Coombs. It's basketball style over the top to Rory Scannell. Casey once more. Kendellen so keen to make an impression in off the bench and show that immense talent that he has. Crowley now pops one away, this time to Dan Goggin. Crowley again. Oh, he was looking for Coombs and he delayed the offload on the pass, and it's absolutely brilliant by the Munster all afternoon. Offloads galore, try scorers galore. They've helped themselves now to 7 and counting.
That's got to be one of the pick of the bunch, I think. Delighted for Shane Daly. He hasn't scored a try for Munster in a long time. So he'd be delighted to easily finish that one off. Gavin Coombs was ever present in that. Spoke about him earlier that we haven't seen a huge amount of him, but I think it's because he hasn't been carrying usually like we usually see him. He's been offloading, and great feet from Jack Crowley. Didn't look at that for an offload, but Gavin Coombs, so hard to stop. And Mike Haley, as we said a few minutes ago, so often the man to give the last pass.
Andrew,
that really was a brilliant try. Rare you see a turnover at a scrum. It was just a beast of a scrum from that new Munster front row. Ball popped out the side. Good pick up and carry from Alex Kendall, and as you said, he's so keen to get involved. His footwork is great. It just seemed to be the most impressive part for this performance. Is it's across the board, I think, for Munster. Every player is kind of raising their hand.
Just pulled that one ever so slightly, has Jack Crowley, so it remains at 45 points to 3. But yeah, you're right about Shane Daly, such a confidence player and real threat on the wing, but that's his first try in almost 13 months and only a second in 2 years, so great to see him cross the whitewash.
Munster substitution, number 22, Ben Healy, replaces number 15, Mike Haley.
And I agree with you, it's been a 1-23 performance or thereabouts. Anybody that's come in, we saw the energy of that front row off the bench, but in terms of the starting 15, there's, well, half a dozen candidates for man of the match. Farrell and Wycherley have been exceptional. Casey, obviously, with those 2 early tries, has been brilliant. Scannell out the back to Ben Healy, who's come in and over the top now to Crowley. Interesting to see both Ben Healy and Jack Crowley on the pitch at the same time. Mike Haley's evening is over, and what an evening he had. Great performance from him also. Niall Scannell, Munster playing with the advantage. Coombs upended, taken on by Stephen Archer there for Casey as he waits, and they've got huge numbers out left. Kendellen just doesn't go to hand for Crowley this time.
Ball's not out.
This could finish up any number the way things are going. Still a quarter of the game to go.
They really could. They're playing with such good intent here, and the game hasn't slowed down. It's sped up. It's sped up, in fact.
Yeah, saw that.
Great to see, a good decision from Johan Van Gran and Stephen Larkham to give Mike Haley a break. You know, we all know what Mike Haley is capable of. We've seen it. He's so consistent. To see Jack Crowley get a shot at full back now, and to have almost 2 playmakers on the field with himself and Ben Healy is very exciting. And you just see that all those young players from Munster today really raising their hands. And
ask the question,
Healy,
I will never lie.
Such a fan of how he goes to the corner. Just always gets every inch out of those kicks to the corner. It's incredible.
Right to the corner. Almost to the inch.
You know, it's very interesting. I think as a forward, you'll see sometimes how difficult it is to make 5-10 yards carrying. You can get those penalty opportunities. If your out half can put it, you know, right on the 5 metre line, it puts the defence under so much pressure.
One of these in. They're fine on the line. In. Get in.
Scannell finding Jack O'Donoghue. Scannell's off here, and he's moving at a rate of knots, and he's over the line. Now, can he get that down?
Goal line drop.
Of course, if he's held up now, there's a little bit of a tariff against the attacking side now of this goal line dropout.
Left.
An interesting rule. It keeps the game moving, I think, Conor. I think that's what I do like about it most.
Shane Daly's not going to follow the likes of Boeta Chamberlain and others who have shown a penchant for a drop goal off these goal line dropouts. That's one way to try and take them on now. Ball there for Casey. Munster still coming forward with good promise. Wasn't clean from Healy, but it's been picked up by Crowley.
Not now.
Ball there for Casey, did well to hold on to it. In behind it goes from Jeremy Loughlin, and then over the top now for Daly. He's got Klutzer there. Another brilliant offload, and Klutzer, was he held? Munster again straight up 2-3 metres out. Big hit going in from Aki Soeli on John Klein, but they're not quick enough to roll out of the way, so it's another penalty advantage, and it must be another try, is it? It absolutely is. Down that short side is the open side, and Munster 8 tries to the good here, and they've hit the half century against the Dragons in Limerick.
Again, Clote's so dangerous in those 5 metre lines. You always see him hanging out there. Almost got there 30 seconds beforehand, but a brilliant offload from Shane Daly here. Just delayed the pass. It's so impressive decision making in these 5 metre lines. I don't think Munster have gotten into the Dragons 22 in this game without actually coming away with a score.
Thanks,
Very impressive.
Yeah, please, Paul.
It certainly has been really impressive, and we talk about Munster's attack and the limitations that it may or may not have, and it seems tonight, well, the offload quota has been reached and breached for the season almost.
Well, again, I think Gavin Coombs really he's blown me away here with his ability. We all know how good he is at carrying, but someone must have spotted this during the week, that the Dragons are going to target him as a carrier and as a focus point for Munster. But every single time he's pivoting and he's giving those little passes, whether it be out the back to Jack Crowley, and in that instance it was to Ben Healy, and he's such a big unit that he attracts so much attention. He's creating space all around him.
Well, he certainly had the distance, he just didn't drag it in, didn't draw it in on that high draw from right to left, Ben Healy. But they are bang on track for their biggest win of the season. They hit 45 points here in the Champions Cup game against Wasps, 42 points against Sharks, 43 against the Scarlets across in West Wales. But once again, nothing is going right for the Dragons. Jack Crowley this time picking up where Mike Healy left off. Good pickup from Scannell.
No.
There for Casey again, Archer.
First arriving.
And this time Dragons get momentary relief of a penalty to try and get down into Munster territory.
Replacement loose head, first arriving, holding on.
Say, look at that from Jack Crowley. Not a full back by nature, but he knew exactly what to do there. Great feet, he's great leg drive as well. His physical presence is starting to show at the moment. You know, he's still a young guy, a lot of development, but
no, on your front man.
He can mix it.
He's so easy on the eye to watch. He's got
on the front man.
The full repertoire of skills.
Yeah, in we come.
So many aspects of the game seem to come so easily to him. Ellis shift now, and he finds Keddy.
Advantage, contact to the air. I've got it.
Pressure of Jack O'Donoghue, who may have given away the penalty advantage here as he tried to contest for that ball. Sam Davies, is there a way around? All the while we're playing the advantage.
Always
back we come.
Back. Mark is here. You missed the ball and you played the man. Yeah. That's
Dragons
my view.
will find themselves in the unfamiliar position of being
you get
deep
the ball, you're
inside
fine, but you've
Munster
played them.
territory and inside that 22 here.
On your front man.
I want to come away with here with something.
Ball only goes.
It's such a bright start to the season, the Dragons, and it's been very disjointed since then. But as you said,
Dragons,
they've got some great
set
signings.
up, please. And
less than JJ Hangerin, as we know, is great signing. We'll go toe-to-toe with Sam Davies next year for that 10 spot.
Yeah, really interesting to see what Hanrahan can bring with his experience and having gone to France, played in England. two-time Golden Boot winner, of course, in this competition.
No, 3.
Audrey Jones on his way to Newport from the Ospreys at the end of the season also, and I mentioned Bradley Roberts.
He's still a relatively young guy, JJ. He looks old, but
he'd be delighted if he said that.
Yeah, 11.
Contest in the air.
Well played.
Was it 9 out of 9? JJ Hanrahan off the kicking tee in that game away in France at Clermont. That's a good way to put yourself in the shop window, isn't it?
I wonder why they signed him.
Casey, audacious in the extreme as he finds Cloete somehow out the back door, and it's absolutely beautiful to watch for Munster this evening. Cloete, scorer of 2 tries from the open side flank, and now Lockman lines up, and Crowley, and numbers on backs don't really matter at this point as Coombs, always when it gets as fast and loose as this, you're prone to be picked off in terms of an intercept. Munster survive for now. Dan Goggin over on that far side.
Scrum advantage is over.
Neil Cronin is in. Casey still on, so where's Cronin gone for now? Just trying to figure out who's gone off. I think it's Simon Zebo, yeah, so he's over on that left wing.
Hold on.
I saw one of those 2 weeks ago against Edinburgh from Casey as well. Ship. Davies. Scannell in the way.
Stay on.
Casey still moving at full throttle, and he sees a lack of backfield coverage. Which way is the bounce just going to go this time? Doesn't quite get the home bounce he got the last time down in this corner. And the kick chase is good, led by Cronin. And he's done well to get himself back on the right side there and not concede an unfortunate penalty.
Ball's coming.
Suelli.
Use it.
Up it goes from Lewis Jones and into the sanctuary of touch just on that 22.
All good. Dragons
Yeah,
line,
you'd wonder
please.
whether Simon Zebo has gone off with an injury or they just want to get
Is this an injury?
minutes into these guys. And you know, it's great to see the likes of Craig Casey getting an 80-minute game. It's great to see Jack Crowley getting an 80-minute game, and you want to see all these fellas getting a run. And Neil has been brilliant for Munster when he's been called upon. Look, he can slot in anywhere. Like his older brother Sean, who I think scored a brace for Leinster earlier on today.
Well played,
Another guy who you could stick in the wing, even though he's a hooker. He's got that pace. And they're a great rugby family. They know the game inside out.
The picture of Dean Ryan.
You lads are going to be in the line, right?
Says it all from the Dragons' point of view, yeah, but we've been spoiled with an array of highly scoring games across the weekend. Munster hitting, or Leinster rather, hitting 60 points. Maybe Munster in the back of their minds half thinking, can they outdo them here? A little bit too much on the stretch there for Dan Goggin.
It's a scrum, boys.
It's just about to compliment Munster on their skill level tonight. It's been pretty good. And
they're not going to happen for any of that.
I choose the moment when they throw a bit of a sloppy pass, but good running lines there outside Ben Healy. They've plenty of options.
Manage your weight. Nothing early, pal.
Yeah, here it is.
Was that? Yeah, just
Ben Healy was really good here against Edinburgh, 14 points that night, and you talk about that dynamic and seeing Crowley and Healy on the pitch, and you think back to how good Jack Crowley was in that Cast game away from home, massive occasion, massive night. You know how difficult it is down in France, and then very next game Healy comes in here against Wasps, and he was unbelievable in the first half in particular. He was so commanding, a real presence. It's going to be so interesting to watch the two of them across the next number of seasons. 72 minutes in, and Or he's probably just happy he doesn't have to name the official player of the match tonight. There's been way too many candidates in red for Munster this evening.
It really has. It's a tough one. As you said, Craig Casey started so well, and to be fair to him, he mightn't have stood out in the last 40-50 minutes, but it's because you're just so used to how quick he's moving the ball now. His passing is so accurate, and it's the tempo. He's kept this game just going so quickly, and I think that is something that's been missing from this Munster side for a while now. There's been a lot of frustration in Thomond Park when you come to these games when the ball is slowed down and we move to a box kick. So we know what Kerry can do, so we're playing to his strengths.
And there's Healy just rectifying that move with Goggin inside. There's another try here. Certainly, and Hodnett's going to get his name on the ledger as well. Everybody wants one tonight. Everyone wants to be part of what has been a brilliant 1-23 performance right from the first whistle when Casey got that first try, and they've got 9.
What a break. Again, we spoke about Stephen Larkham's influence in the first half and his backline moves, but great pass from Healy, great line from Scannell. Hodnett blocking a few players there, and then great support line as well. And there's a guy who deserves that as well. When he's been called upon for Munster this year, not least in the Wasps game before Christmas over there, he's absolutely phenomenal.
This time it's Ben Healy who adds the extras. 57 points to 3. 9 tries. The last time I remember Munster scoring 9 tries here, I think it was the Ulster game a couple of seasons ago. Joey Carberry was exceptional that night. Munster scored some brilliant tries. Ulster were down a couple of players and 1 or 2 key injuries in the game. Difficult night for them. It's been an odious task really for the Dragons all evening. They've had no response whatsoever. Munster still going. Will they get a 10th try? Still playing with all that fluidity and flamboyance, and Hodnett now just presses the accelerator, and Daly, and they're queuing up, and it's going to be Jack O'Donoghue. 10 tries for Munster. Jack O'Donoghue gets in with his second of the evening, and it's an absolute right.
Again, what a try for Munster. The skill level, Ben Healy with so many options, floating passes. John Hodnett out in the 15-metre line there. If you just look at Cundelling's footwork here, and his strength in the contacts, getting over that gain line. Neil Cronin then doubling up as a scrum half. It's another benefit of having 2 of them on the field. Shane Daly's been excellent in this second half. An ever-present Jack O'Donoghue on their shoulder. The captain getting the 10th try. Absolutely brilliant for Munster.
So 2 in quick succession, and a couple of conversions to add for Ben Healy. It is a really, really tough and grim watch if you're a Dragons supporter. It's relentless if you're a Munster fan, and they may not be finished yet. They're already into record territory. 10 tries. Captain's got 2 of them. Cloutier's got a couple. Casey's got 2. Farrell, Zebo, Hodnett, all on the mark as well. 64 points to 3.
They haven't slowed down with the amount of changes they've made. You know, it hasn't really disrupted this Munster side. If anything, they've kicked on a little bit.
Still going, still working. Crowley just lost it forward. Diddy on the floor, picked up by Masaki Douge. But yeah, the handling from Munster tonight has been really something at times. The offloading ability, those support lines on shoulders.
Scrum advantage over.
Taken on by Sueli again. There for Lewis Jones. Sam Davies, and it goes to Jordan Williams. Crowd have enjoyed themselves this evening. Bonus point wrapped up before half time. And they've kicked on from there. Half a dozen tries in the second half. Casey now on defensive duties.
Is that taken back? No, so it's goal line. Goal line drop out.
Goal line drop out. He didn't carry it back
Touched
over.
on the lines, goal line. We'll go goal line drop out. Goal line.
Take a quick one there. Great Casey, he doesn't want to let the foot off the pedal.
Goal line drop out.
He'd be happy to be called back for that one.
Broad smiles all around, and pick of the bunch really on a tough night to pick the player of the match because there were so many standout candidates. Chris Farrell is the official player of the match.
Yeah, to be fair to him, he got through an amount of work. Such a tough character to play against. Big abrasive player with great skills, and created a lot for Munster in that first half, set the platform.
Yeah, your boys have shown it down because you've not rolled.
Tries and 10 points from Jack Crowley and a couple of conversions for Ben Healy off the bench. Munster will go to South Africa in record-breaking form tonight.
First.
Altogether different challenges awaiting them.
Off feet one, you're not supporting.
Against the Bulls and the Lions, and Benetton and Leinster then before the European Games. As Barry said, it's a really, really busy time of the season defining 5 or 6 weeks really in terms of where they'll find themselves in the end of season playoffs if they are to make it there, which on tonight's performance and where they stand in the ledger pre-game they surely must. Came into this in 5th place in the table and pushing back up that table now after tonight. We're inside the final minute of what has been a brilliant display from Munster.
Miles forward. Come on, absolute miles.
Slightly forward there from Rory Scanley's a beautiful left to right pass. Shane Daly with his hand waving on the right and wing here.
Even Stu saw that one.
Yeah, look, as you said, the URC is going to benefit massively from having those South African teams, and we haven't seen the benefit of it yet because of COVID, but it's going to be so exciting over the next few weeks for this team who are going down there, as you said, ultra confident now from coming off a record-breaking win. Okay, they're without a handful of internationals. They've got so much experience in this side, blended with incredible youth and enthusiasm, and you get the sense that this Munster team have been really galvanised over the last couple of years, and there's a lot of belief internally in one another and what they're trying to do. So I think it's going to be great to see them go head-to-head with those strong South African teams over the next few weeks.
It certainly is. Chris Klutze over the ball, still doing the hard yards, putting his shoulder to the wheel, winning the penalty. I mentioned that game, by the way, when they scored 9 tries against Ulster a couple of seasons ago. I was here for that match. They scored 9 tries in a 64-7 win. Well, they've bettered that tonight. Certainly it's the same scoreline, but it's a bigger margin, and they've got 10 tries. It has been a record-breaking night for Munster. It's their biggest winning margin in this competition, and they've also helped themselves for the first time ever to 10 tries. Yes, 10 tries against the Dragons. Bonus point wrapped up by half-time. Half a dozen tries in the second period. They were relentless, they were clinical, they were flamboyant, and they were utterly brilliant from start to finish. The final score at Thomond Park in Limerick is Munster 64, the Dragons 3.
During tonight's URC contest. Make sure you never miss a moment.